Should you buy the Zoom H5 or Zoom H6? There is a $50 difference between the two, but if you're a musician on a budget, which one is a better buy? In this video, I'm going to go over the main differences in the design, weight, battery life, number of inputs, quality of displays, and finally, how well can they record my violin playing with the built-in microphones. Design. Let's start with the Zoom H5. It has a nice compact dimensions, round edges, is comfortable in your hand, and has those very cool crush bars that prevent you from accidentally messing up your recording levels. I bet you that the engineer who designed this was a car racing enthusiast, because this looks exactly like a roll bar in a race car. Zoom H6 looks a bit more business, has more knobs and inputs, cool textures on the casing, and has this pretty color screen. H6 has a much better SD card door. The one on the H5 is just quite clumsy to use. The logo on the door reveals that it can accept XC SD cards. Fancy. Weight. Let's look at them side by side. H6 is quite a bit bigger and heavier. So I guess if you got really frustrated during a recording session and threw this one against the wall, it would do a much bigger damage. Battery life. Most of that weight difference, I think, actually comes from the fact that H5 has 2 batteries and that the H6 has 4. That, in effect, gives 15 hours of recording time for the Zoom H5 and 20 hours for the Zoom H6. So if you are secretly trying to record a Wagner's ring cycle that happens to be over 15 hours long, yeah, Zoom H6 is your only option. Inputs. Zoom H5 has one stereo microphone and 2 phantom-powered inputs. It means that it can feed power to an external microphone. You can also plug in something like a lapel microphone right in this port and use it instead of the capsule. Note that this one is not powered. Zoom H6 keeps all the good stuff from the little brother and adds 2 additional phantom-powered ports for the total of 6 channels. Display. H5 has a black and white screen, while H6 has a sharper color screen. Both of them remind me of a display technology from the year 2002. Screen on the Zoom H6 is not very big, and with the 6 tracks and all the other info, it feels quite cramped. Since the H5 has to show you only 4 channels in a similar space, it's a bit easier to read at glance. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Recording quality. Finally, we get to ask the most important question. Does the size really matter? Is the 1/2 inch capsule on the Zoom H6 superior to the smaller 3/8 of an inch on the H5? Now I'm going to record simultaneously on both devices. Then I will play it back for you, cycling through them. So get your headphones on, listen very carefully. Let me know in the comments below if you can actually hear the difference, because those 2 mics are very, very close to each other. So let's have some fun. Test 1. Test 2. Test 3. Here's what we learned so far. Zoom H5 has those very cool crash bars and nice round edges. H6 has cooler textures, much nicer SD card door, and a nice color screen. However, I am a car racing enthusiast, so in the design category, I would call it a tie. If you ever decide to throw your recorder at the wall, use H5 because it's lighter. It will make less damage, therefore in the portability category, Zoom H5 wins. If you enjoy secretly recording operas, then Zoom H6 is your only option, therefore it wins in the battery life category. From a professional musician perspective, if you're going to attempt to have a real recording session, then you probably are going to be using phantom power. Zoom H5 will give you a ability to have a one high quality stereo feed. Zoom H6 will give you two of those, which means that you will have a greater control over the balances if you're recording an ensemble, for example. So in the input category, Zoom H6 wins. Color screen versus black and white. Choice should be obvious. However, in the case of recorders, the layout of the information on the screen actually is more important to me, and the things are really cramped on the H6, so I would actually call it a tie. Is bigger really better? To my ears, not really. Well, that's what she said. Anyways, the difference is so marginal that I have a hard time even telling the microphones apart. I don't know about you guys. I mean, please let me know in the comments if you could actually hear the difference. I would say maybe in the mid-register I could hear some, but in the sound recording quality category, I would say it's a tie. My final verdict. So for only $50 more, you're going to get longer battery life, 2 extra inputs, and not necessarily more functional, but nicer looking screen. On the other hand, Zoom H5 recording quality compared to H6 is virtually the same. So if you are just going to use the capsule that comes with the recorder, I would just save my money and buy Zoom H5. However, if you're going to plan to work with the phantom powered microphones and recording software, and you're going to be doing some post-processing, then Zoom H6 is a lot more capable tool, and yeah, $50 more, definitely worth it. I have a little bonus for you, a viola joke. What is the definition of a perfect pitch? It is throwing a viola into a trash can without hitting the rim. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun. I definitely did. Please check out my other videos, subscribe and like, and I will see you later.